Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I thought I would do a little message to you talking about what we have planned in the year ahead. And, um, and I want to thank you for participating in CMED and in reflections classes and in joining us in workshops during 2022. I find it hard to believe it's 2023. I'm sure a lot of you are in that frame of mind, but it seems, I have such clear memories of Y2K and coming into the year 2000 and all the destructive predictions of that, the years before that, you're not going to make it over the Rubicon into the next century and the next millennium. But as it turned out, we did. And there's something about the beginning of the year that makes people do, resolutions and predictions and all, what is it? But that in itself is kind of an archetypal pattern, a pattern of renewal. As we go through the death of one year, we go through the birth of another. And that inspired us here at CMED to want to do something new this year that I want to talk to you about. And that's that, predictions are dicey business. I mean, I have, because of my work in medical intuition and the association of me as a clairvoyant or a psychic or whatever, that often when I was in the business of doing medical intuitive readings, people would ask me the kinds of questions that are far more I mean, they're far more like what I would call street psychic stuff. Like, I have this business, and can this happen? And da 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 da. And I, it's so peculiar to try and explain to someone how choices that we make influence events to come. I learned in doing a reading, and I would say to Norm Shealy, for example, that it is probable that this person will get this illness. So I learned through the years that it was possible, and then a quality of health can shift to probable. And once it's in the probable channel, there are different, you know what it's like? It's like this. It's like you wanting to build a house. And in the wanting stage, let's say lots of people want to build a house. Let's just say everybody wants to build a house. So that possibility exists for everybody. But then you take the next step and you get an architect and you start designing the house. And so it's closer and closer, and you start hiring. So now it goes from a potential of getting a house to a possibility. And then you hire the contractor and you start investing your money. And at that point, it's a probability that you're going to get a house. So it shifted from general to possible to probable. That's how creation works. That's how choice works. That's the stages through which creation takes form. And at every stage, choices need to be made that usher the process of creation into physical form. And it follows our archetypal structure, chakra wise. In the third column, in the 8th, 9th, and 10th chakras, this is the realm of collective possibilities of what we have yet to create, but what could be created and what we are creating together. And then we individualize into our 7 chakras, and into 7 through 4, where we're actively engaging our imagination, our choice, whether or not we're going to put our heart into something. And still at this stage, we can shift gears. So if with an illness, still at that stage, a person has profound influence on whether or not an illness manifests. But if it gets to the first column, first, second, and third, you now are in the column where your energetics are merging with matter. And now it's probable that you will get ill. It's probable that you will get the house built. But it's curious because even at that stage, I've seen people take on their relationship to physical matter with the force of their spirit, which is a whole nother discussion. But what I learned in my years and years and years of doing readings is that there are these stages of creation, and that each stage is a profound stage of personal power into cosmic power, into collective power. And then when I got to reading archetypes, including archetypes in my readings, which took years to do, years. It took years for me to scaffold within myself the capacity to recognize an archetypal pattern. I didn't start out that way. It took years. And then when I first recognized an archetypal pattern, what happened was I was doing a reading, and Norm never ever worked with children. He was a brain surgeon, and he never wanted anything to do with children. It was too hard for him. So when I was doing this reading, he always had the patients in his office in Springfield, Missouri. And I said, I kept getting the image of a child, which was the first time that happened. And I said, are you dealing with a child? What are you doing with a child in your office? And he said, I don't have a child here. And I thought, well, what? And that the impression of the child was so strong that I thought, I just kind of let it, I don't know how to say this. I let it influence what I was thinking. I let it talk to me, as it were. And that was the first, and then as it turned out, and I said to Norm, the child energy around this person is so dominant. And in fact, this man was really exhibited the wounded child so strongly that it had a hold on him. Well, from that time on, archetypes became this realm of, what are these patterns? What are these cosmic patterns? Just like we have this pattern that says at the death of one year and the birth of another, we automatically, intuitively, instinctively go into wanting to renew ourselves and release what died and bring in the new. And so I thought, and David and I thought, in fact, the whole team here at CMED thought it would be a great contribution to do the power of archetypes. And so once a week, what I'm going to do is take one archetype, and I'm going to examine what that archetype is in general as a pattern, and then I'm going to apply it to the life of an individual. So you can see how a general cosmic pattern can influence what's in one is in the whole, how it influences us individually. For some more than others. For example, when we get to the athlete, you're not going to see my name on it. But, and then I'm going to take that pattern and apply it to what's happening in our collective. And so in this way, I'm hoping to open people more to why it's so essential to think in terms of the patterns of power in this universe and to apply those patterns of power to themselves. Because I deeply, deeply, profoundly believe we are living at such an extraordinary time of transformation, and for all the many ways that can be described. For me, if you look through the lens that we are shifting from engaging in this world through five senses and physical matter to shifting into a species that engages with our lives through energy, through energy technology, through energy communication, through understanding our body as a human energy system, we're opening up our energetic senses, this and our energetic perception, so that we are actively expanding how we understand this universe, to include life in other places, to include understanding that this is not air, it is a matter-based, it is a form of energetic data, dark matter, that the world that we thought the way it was when I was growing up, five senses, is not the way it is at all. So we're learning anew how we work, how we're designed, and what the nature of our power is. And because it is so profound a shift, it is causing a transformation to happen everywhere. Because everything we grew up learning, especially in my generation and the elders, and the generation right behind me, that it nothing a lot of what we learned is simply not true. It's not the truth. It was a functioning it was true in a functioning way, because we do have five senses, but it's insufficient. And maybe that's the way to look at it. The knowledge base we grew up with was simply insufficient. And so now it's expanding. And in that expansion, it is giving us the capacity to understand the nature of God differently. Instead of an off-planet, gargantuan cosmic human being that looks like a man, that anthropomorphic archetype is getting dismantled, along with all the myths that hold it in place, which is, I think, one of the trigger points of why there's so much chaos, because so many people are detaching from their traditions and in search of something more, something what are they looking for? But in this in-between stage, you have a rise of fundamentalism, the rise of the fear of exactly what's happening. And so they retreat back to the basics, to the search for what is real, what is out there, what is, how is this world constructed? What is the nature of God? And in between, we're discovering the nature of our power in a very different way. Our internal power, inner space and outer space, are the two new frontiers. Inner space, that our attitudes, our thoughts, our beliefs actually influence the body we're sitting in. And if it's true for one, it means that we are influencing the collective experience that is the human experience. And so I'll break it down one archetype at a time. I'm going to start with a general overview of what archetypes are and how to understand them. And then I'll take them one at a time, and they'll be released at once a week. And it's free. It's just a gift to all of you. So from us to you, from CMED to you. So that's that. But I also want to share that in this year, our reflections classes are going to expand and have wonderful new teachers that we've never had before. And I'm so thrilled with that. We're going to have Monica Sharma. Monica used to be with the UN, and she does conferences all over the world on building communities and problem solving and understanding the power an individual has to make a difference in the world. So applying it to your personal world from such a champion as Monica Sharma. Go ahead and Google her and see who she is. She is just, oh, what a sweet, wonderful, incredible, wise human being. We have Tears of Firestone. She's a rabbi and an author, and her writings are rich and wonderful. And she'll be doing a workshop on, well, she's still in the formation. It could be something on healing, could be something on resolving trauma. She's just brilliant at it. And then we have Eve Ensler, who now uses the name V. She's the author of the Vagina Monologues. She is unbelievable. So she'll be doing a class as well. And her class is on apology and the power of apology and what that means. So those are just three of our new teachers. And of course, we're eager to welcome back Robert Ohado as always. He's just a master. And we will be having, and of course, Matthew Fox will join us again, as will Andrew Harvey, Mirabai Starr. So we have such a great lineup. I'm so thrilled at how CMED is growing and our Reflections Parallel class is going. So look for me, and I'll be doing, of course, classes as well. And in addition to my archetypal weekly messages to you, I thought I would call it the power of archetypes. And you're going to see these little weekly messages flow into your box. So I hope you'll enjoy them. I hope you'll really benefit from this and become as enthusiastic as I am about being a cosmic traveler. In the meantime, I hope this year, not next year, but this year will be a wonderful year for all of you. And remember, we co-create the years, every day of our lives. It doesn't happen to us. We're participants. And so the greatest tools you have are the tools that come from your heart and from how the words you think, the words you use to shape the experiences you have. So instead of saying, this is terrible, use a word like, this is curious, this is interesting. Watch your vocabulary. Watch how you speak to yourself. Speak positively and lovingly to yourself. And pause before you say something negative to another person. You're a powerhouse. Remember that. So bless you all. And the teacher we have this month is Lynn Bell. And I'm thrilled with that. Lynn will be teaching a seminar, 6 parts, on the astrological patterns governing this year that we share. And of course, because I know what she's going to teach, I know the subjects. It is fabulous. And Lynn, of course, is this brilliant astrologer and a lifetime friend of mine. Full disclosure, I've known Lynn for 30 years. She is a master. So we'll be starting that class a week from Monday, January 9th. And Lynn will teach, and then I'll join her for the last part of the class, as I am now doing with many of the teachers. Robert Holden will also be back for classes. It's going to be a wonderful year with us. So I thank you all for being part of our family, and I welcome all the new people who'll join us in this year. Thank you so much.